Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. As we continue our journey through the 2018 Bell & Ross catalog, today we encounter the Bell & Ross Instrument BR0393-GMT, a fascinating combination of the instrument collection style with the BR03 42mm case and the functionality of a true dual-time GMT travel watch. Now you can see this one on my 16cm circumference wrist has the characteristic stance and easy ergonomics of the instrument series. Established in 2005, it's become Bell & Ross's iconic design, but since 2007 we've had the BR03, which is a 42mm case size that is perhaps more universal in how it wears. My wrist, oval in profile, 16cm in circumference, wears this one easily, and you'll note it's a fairly slim watch. Despite the sheer of the side, it's only 10.9mm thick, so it is easy to slip this one underneath the cuff when you want to. Lug to lug, the watch is broad across the wrist, but it's not oversized. 51.5mm means I can wear it easily, and I'd even say your wrist down to about 14cm circumference is going to be able to wear this one well. It does have a satisfying heft to it thanks to the broad profile of the case, which essentially wears like a 42mm square, and the fact that it does feature a solid case back that adds a little bit more premium pull and heft on the wrist. You'll note that the stance of the lugs is broad. With the included 1.3mm hex tool, you can actually swap out the strap, and there is a canvas textile accessory strap that comes with the watch. But what you're looking at here is the calfskin with the hot stamped Bell & Ross ampersand logo and an impressive sheer cut profile. It's very supple in spite of the thickness, and you can see on the underside the same attention to detail. It is a double ampersand. Moving towards the end, the characteristic Bell & Ross oversized, satin finished and polished, faceted pin buckle for easy adjustments on the fly, thoughtfully designed, nicely detailed. You can see that hairline polished bevel along its flank. No default design from Bell & Ross. Based in Paris, built in Switzerland, they are fashionista and at the same time Swiss precision. The best of both worlds. Now the timepiece does feature a rather stubby lug profile with a broad stance, and you'll note that if you actually measure edge to edge at the shoulders of the lugs, the watch is 33mm across, and what that means is the watch is not going to torque back and forth on the wrist. Not only does the taper of the strap better match the flare of the case, but there are many broad watches that simply don't have a good match between lug spacing and case size. Bell & Ross doesn't make that mistake. This one stays put. You'll also note that the instrument case, though simple and designed to evoke mid-20th century analog flight deck instruments from aircraft, hence the name Instrument Series, nevertheless has a degree of nuance that's quite becoming of a luxury product. There's a vertical satin striation on the flank. You'll note that it's tripartite with a case back and a mid-case joining a case top that's attached to the fixed 24-hour GMT-style bezel and a delightful overhang at the four cardinal corners of the dial. The four licks of style matched at the four corners of the case by the traditional Bell & Ross case bolts. Not only do they help to assemble the watch, but they act as styling features, highly technical in profile and iconic of the Instrument series. Fans of the mark know to look for these. You'll also note that the dial itself, despite the addition of the second time indicator, doesn't lose any of its basic legibility. Everything about the watch is designed to be read at an instant, so you have large 24-hour calibrations on the fixed bezel. The better to read, the evocative vintage-inspired orange arrow 24-hour hand that can be set independently from the broadsword hour hand at center. You have a matte dial base with an anti-reflective coated crystal, so the watch is highly glare resistant, and then day or night you have a high degree of legibility, although I will mention that on this timepiece hours, minutes, and the 24-hour hand are luminescent. The indices themselves are an upscale set of applique satin-finished metal with a glorious silver sheen. You can see from this off angle that they do have loft above the dial, placed by hand, beautifully aligned, giving an extra layer of dimension and another focal plane to the dial. They add richness. You'll also note that there's a corresponding use of a shock of orange, the GMT script at 6 o'clock, as well as the orange arrow itself. And for those of you who will be wearing your watch every day or traveling abroad, it's always convenient to keep track of the date. So the watch has an understated, small, tapered aperture window for the date at approximately 4:30. It basically blends in when you don't wish to see it, but is accessible when you do. You'll note that the seconds hand is a large Lancet-style counterweighted second that extends and perfectly kisses the hashes of the seconds track outboard for easy reading to the second. At the 3 o'clock side, there is a crown with a layer of multiple knurling that is quite easy to manipulate, even if your hands are wet, sweaty, or gloved. And you can see my hands gloved easily accessing the crown. The watch does have 100-meter water resistance. This is achieved with a push-down crown, so no awkward threaded crown structure. And not only do you have the stop seconds function for setting the watch precisely to a reference time, but there is a quick set functionality, and we'll see if I've correctly engaged the second clutch setting, but you can quickly set the hour hand in half-hour increments, and then by turning in the opposite direction, you'll note that you can operate the quick set for the date. And this is significant because many GMT-style watches force you to endlessly spin and circulate a mobile local hour hand. The BR0393-GMT gives you the ability to quick set the second time zone as well as the date. And remember, the second time zone is in 24-hour format, so that's the time zone where you are not. You'll always know whether you're looking at, for example, 7 in the morning or 7 in the evening. The timepiece features a caliber BR03, 21 joules, automatic winding, 40 to 42 hour power reserve, and the automatic winding action is bidirectional, so it's very smooth without rattle or rumble. Of course, you have the double quick set function, the hacking seconds, the 100-meter water resistance. It is also a thin and fine traditional Swiss automatic that helps the watch to maintain its svelte profile. You can see this one, and you can learn more about the entire collection of 2018 Bell & Ross timepieces on our website, govbergwatches.com. And we're back with the Bell & Ross instrument BR0393-GMT. You can see the orange arrow becomes the blue arrow by night. At the 9 o'clock side, the left side of your screen, you're going to see the hours and minutes, the 12-hour format, and on the right you can see the orange arrow triangular index representing the 24-hour cycle. See it by the light of day on govbergwatches.com.